Hello, everyone, or whoever joins us now for what is going on? Why are there no people here? Hold on, what is happening? It does not. Oh, wait. Okay, I don't know what the fuck just happened there. That was just crazy. I started the show and I thought I was talking to you, and then all of a sudden there was no show. It said that we weren't live. So I don't know. I don't even know if you can see me. Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk News. I'm Leticia Remauro. I'm your host. And as always, what a freaking day. The lighting in here isn't great, so I don't know. Can you see me? Can you not? Give me feedback. Hello, Francine. Good to have you here. Hello, Mama. Here we go again. And our OG, Lucille Chavon. Good to have you. I'm not quite sure what is going on with this live stream. Getting subscribers like crazy. Not getting viewers in the live. Getting them later on. I'm sure that I am very happy with who we have here, but it's just all very interesting to me. Hello, husband. I love that my family and friends support me. Hello, Debbie Lebedo. I missed seeing you while I was up there. Happy birthday to your son. And how are you? Lucille says she sees me fine. Good. You might see a ring light out of this eye. I don't know. Just ignore it. Hi, Susan Durema. How are you? So tonight's show is called Trump Cash. And there's a reason, because a whole bunch of stuff is happening that I don't quite understand. I mean, I do, but it's pissing me off. The economy is in really, really good shape until, of course, the Democrats shut it down over the government shut down. So it's going to really tank the economy in a lot of ways, similar to what happened with COVID, but not, as long-term and not as impactful as COVID, of course, because this was just a government shutdown. And so it didn't affect everybody, but it did affect tourism, travel industry, things like that. And it could affect the travel industry for years to come, because if you saw Sean Duffy, our transportation commissioner, speaking on television, he said that he used to have 2 air traffic controllers a day who would retire, and now he's up to 15 with this government shutdown. So we're going to have an impact to the holidays as far as travel is concerned. Maybe not so much. Maybe people will decide to do road trips instead of airplanes. I don't know. But at any rate, why was I talking about that? I was talking about that because, once again, hello, Angela Ricca and Tony Whitaker. The Democrats have been playing games with everybody's lives. And why do I say that? Well, they said that they were shutting down the government. They wouldn't vote for the clean CR because of Obamacare, that they wanted those extra subsidies for Obamacare. And then they said that it was the Republicans' fault that the government was shut down, that we had the power, the Republicans had the power and they could have negotiated. So they were spreading that lie all over the news media, and the fake news was gobbling it up. But now that 8 Democrats have come over and made the 60 votes that we needed to pass the CR and some other things now after 41 days of a government shutdown, they're all blaming Chuck Schumer for it. They all. Who? Well, we could start with The View, and then we could start with AOC and Bernie Sanders and others. So which one was it? Did the Democrats shut it down? Did they always have the power to open it up, or did they not? You can't have it both ways, but the Democrats love to have it both ways. They think that we are stupid, and we're not stupid. And why am I on this rant right now? I'm on this rant right now. Hi, Maisie. How are you? because they're saying that Americans feel like everything is more expensive than it was under Biden. Do you believe that? Do you think everything is more expensive in your house? I can tell you right now, we've watched gas prices go down from $2.80 to I think it's about $2.40 now. We've watched the price of eggs go from about $7 a dozen that my sister-in-law just told me she paid $1.99 for 18 extra large eggs the other day at Kroger. We're seeing grocery. The only thing that has gone up is beef, and there's a reason that beef has gone up. And guess what? Trump figured it out. Watch this. This is going to blow your mind.
President Trump accusing 4 of the biggest meatpacking companies of driving up U.S. beef prices, which hit record highs in August. The president blaming the companies of artificially inflating prices at the expense of America's farmers and consumers, directing the Justice Department to now investigate. News Nation's Marcus Espinoza is here to break it all down. I read the headline and I thought, this is a big deal. Yeah. It really is.
Yes.
What's the latest?
It's really expensive right now at the grocery store. The president now looking into it. You could say he has beef with this particular industry here. Oh, we got a whole script of this stuff coming up here. He posted onto Truth Social on Friday calling on the DOJ to act expeditiously by looking into what he's calling illicit collusion, price fixing, and price manipulation against companies that pack America's meat. Now, the president added that American ranchers are taking the blame for what is being done by majority foreign-owned meat packers who artificially inflate prices and jeopardize the security of our nation's food supply. And the DOJ responded immediately, with Attorney General Pam Bondi answering the president under an hour later to confirm that the Antitrust Division was looking into his request alongside the Department of Agriculture. While President Trump didn't call them out directly on social media, a press release from the administration points to the fact that a staggering 85% of all beef in the U.S. is processed by one of just 4 companies, a notable increase from the 36% these companies controlled back in 1980. And 2 of those companies are either foreign-owned or have what the administration is calling a significant foreign ownership. Now, there are obviously factors here at play, Hannah, besides the alleged collusion, but that's definitely a pretty meaty chunk of the argument.
So there has been, and we know that it's true, right? There's mafiosos and collusion and whatever you want to call it, RICO Act violations in every industry. But the ranchers alerted us to this. The farm to table ranchers alerted us to the fact that there was a collusion about the within the meat packing industry with these top four entities that actually process the beef, process the cows. I'm sorry. And they were setting don't ask. And they were setting these artificial prices. They were holding back. So it was taking them longer to process the meat. And so the shelves were bare. And so there was more demand, less supply. And Trump figured it out the same way he figured it out that, there was a problem with the feed with the chickens, and the chickens weren't getting what they needed to produce enough eggs. And as soon as they swapped out the feed for different feed, all of a sudden the chickens started producing again. They're effing with our food. I can't even, and our money. Meanwhile, this is with respect to the government opening and shutting down. Meanwhile, the Democrats said they had control. They had control and advantage and blamed Trump for the shutdown. They're so full of it. Absolutely. They shut it down, then complained no one was getting food stamps. Then Democrat crossed over, and now they're complaining. So I guess they're not hungry. It's all just too ridiculous. Hi, Gloria. Good to have you. Meat cartels. Yeah, you're right. Janice Gregory, how are you, dear? You have been on my mind because Convention of States has been on my mind. Boy, oh boy, would it be great. I think that you need to talk to Senator Kennedy of Louisiana. He wants very much to get rid of the 26th Amendment to the Constitution so that if the government is shut down, that Congress does not get paid. And I kept thinking about you guys over at Convention of States, thinking you guys could put it on your agenda. So anyway, so Trump, every time somebody tries to screw with us, Trump seems to be able to figure it out. And a lot of that has to do because he gets a lot of information from social media, from Truth Social, from TikTok, from X, especially when I need to know if something is happening. I look at X all the time. Okay, good. Yeah. Listen, reach out to Kennedy's office. I think that he would be very interested. I don't know if Louisiana has signed on. It would be interesting if it did. You could look that up and let us know. But and you could also kind of quickly Convention of States, if any of you don't know, it's where you go around Congress to pass something, and you have to and so it's the people and the states that adopt an agenda, and then it's forced to be taken up in Congress, but by the states. It's a convention of the 50 states. It's written in our Constitution. I think that it is the Fifth Amendment. I can't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong, Janice. But it is for self-governance, or for if Congress is doing something wrong, the people can step up and use the states to actually conduct business. Very interesting. Right now, they are looking at term limits. They are looking for Congress. I think a balanced budget, and there's another thing that I don't remember. So what you're saying is that the meat packing was behind, and so they upped the prices. Is that what you're saying? Yes, they did not process as quickly as they should. So the lag caused the demand to be greater than the supply, which, because it's a commodity, commodities work on that supply and demand. And so the prices of beef went up. Hi, Michael Petrides. Conventions of steak.com. Yeah, that's an easier way to do it. Thanks, Janice. Kansas is back on to 20 states on board. Oh, that's great. So I think we need 26, right? Or is it more than 26? I think it's 26 states. So I think that we need everybody to get involved with Convention of States. Very interesting. Yeah, wow. And with the eggs, it was the feed, and I forget which one it was. It was a big manufacturer, and many of the ranchers and the chicken growers use this feed, and the feed didn't have enough, or had too much of one chemical, or not enough of another. And it was slowing down egg productions in the chickens. Like, chickens weren't laying. And I was watching this unfold. I guess it was on YouTube. A lot of the chicken farmers were really concerned because they couldn't get their hens to lay. And it was like all across the country that this was happening. And then they finally figured out that it was the feed, and they changed the feed. And now the Department of Agriculture was working with them. They changed the feed, and the chickens started laying again. So go figure out. Louisiana signed on to Convention of States in 2016. And yes, Article 5. Oh, good. And my brain is really working. So this is good. I like that. 34 states. Okay, not 26, 34. AOC says Trump isn't doing anything about the brown cow shortage, and now she doesn't get her chocolate milk. Do you remember when they said that we needed fewer cows because their farts were causing global warming? Well, there are fewer cows now than there were like in the 70s, but this is just a tidbit that I found out from a rancher. There are fewer cows, but there's more meat being produced, because back in the 70s, the cows were smaller. And so, just like humans got bigger, so did the cows now. So, you don't need, one cow produces about 30 or 35% more than of meat than they did in the 70s. Great info in here. Love you, Leticia. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad that you enjoy that. Hi, Chips. How are you? When are the files being released? They have been released, Chips. They've been released. And I think that we know, more are being released every day. And I think that we know a lot of what we need to know about the Epstein files. If Trump was in them, Biden would have released them. I mean, I did think we got to remember that, right? Because why, look, they prosecuted him. They broke all kinds of rules and regulations to prosecute him on bullshit charges in New York and everywhere else. Don't you think it would have been just easier for them to, if there was anything in the Epstein files that would have condemned Trump that, people didn't already know, which was that he and Epstein did hang out together for quite a while until he figured out that something was fishy about Epstein, and he actually turned him into the West Palm Beach Sheriff Department because they were neighbors, and there were a lot of people who hung out with Epstein, including Obama and Clinton, right? So anyway, if there was anything there, Chips, Biden would have certainly let it go. I think they're kicking themselves that they didn't think to, shove something in there and pretend something was there. What was funny? I'm not sure. Less cow farts, but more liberals talking. So there's no difference, right? There's a lot of hot air, a lot of gas in the air. Okay, let's see. Some conspiracy theories are out there that Trump is not putting out them completely because it will expose a lot of people. Do you think that could be possible? I do. I don't think it's because it'll expose a lot of people. I think that there are innocent people that will be harmed. And I don't mean like the people that were partying with Epstein. I think the girls that are now grown and women and have families. And, I think that if you release the files and those names are out there, it's problematic. I also think that if you're planning on prosecuting anybody for anything that's contained in those files, releasing them will probably be a problem and would screw a lawsuit, or screw a conviction. So I think that he's being smart about the way that they're handling this, because if you're going to prosecute, you can't just put all the documents out there, right? So Clinton's in there. Biden wouldn't release them. Let's see if Mike swears in the 218th vote, then all the facts will come out. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's see if all the facts come out. Epstein files. Yes. Okay. Okay. So the other reason that this is called the Trump cash is because look at this. Trump over the weekend has said that a dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not including high income people, will be paid to everyone from the tariffs. And there was a lot of confusion about what he meant. Was it a tax, write-off or this or that? And this is what I love about Trump, is that he makes decisions, truly based on, he goes on the fly, put it that way. He doesn't always vet everything through people, and he doesn't let people tear it apart. He puts it out there. Be damned, right? If it is, if somebody thinks it's a bad idea, but he puts himself on record, which is opposite of what politicians do, right? Usually politicians, they have an idea, they put it up the chain, they pull it all apart, and then eventually it never sees the light of day. Trump does the opposite. He puts it out there so that they have to figure out a way to make it work. I think that that's great. I mean, $2,000 for everybody. He said today, first he wants to also pay down the debt, which we need to do. I think that's important. But after, the calamity of what the Democrats did with this government, and now the House Democrats are trying to, are claiming that they're going to stop the bill on their side, which, I mean, if they do, they're just dead. they're dead in 2026. But let's see. Exactly, they would have used it against Trump immediately, no doubt about it. Listen, we know, Randy, right, what Trump's involvement was with Epstein. We also know that Trump found thousands of the children that Biden supposedly lost, who came over the border, who have been being sex trafficked. We know in his first, in his Trump 45, they found tens of thousands of children who were being sex trafficked, and they put those bad guys away. He's doing it again. I mean, this is, the thing about Trump is he can walk and chew gum at the same time. And the things about the Democrats is they can't. And so all they have to do is lie. When I say the Democrats, I don't mean the people Democrats. I mean the Democrats in charge, the woke Democrats. So the other thing that Trump said today, and I really feel excited about this because, as many of you know, I have friends in Washington, and this weekend I was traveling and I watched this TSA and air traffic controllers worked without pay. And I thanked every one of them, of course, and they were exhausted. And I wrote one of my friends in Congress and I said, when we get to the other side of it, Trump should use some of that tariff money to give a bonus to TSA and air traffic controllers. Not, just their back pay, but like a real substantial bonus, something that has teeth, like 10 grand or something. Well, watch.
On Sunday, nearly 8% of flights canceled, and today is on track to be just as bad, if not worse, with more than 1,500 flights canceled before 9 a.m.
It's really, really stressful.
The FAA choosing to gradually reduce flights by 10%, they say due to safety reasons.
Delay, then it was canceled.
On Saturday, Airlines for America saying 71% of delays were due to staffing, as air traffic controllers and TSA agents call out of work without pay. President Trump today on social media posting he's not happy about controllers calling out sick, recommending a $10,000 bonus for those who kept working without pay. The ATC union president today responding.
Air traffic controllers have continued to show up during this shutdown, and every single day they absolutely not only deserve their pay, they deserve to be recognized.
So I'd like to think that either great minds think alike or maybe the message got there. But again, off the cuff, he puts it out there so it can't be retracted. And he's a smart guy that way. But here's the real Trump money situation. The Affordable Care Act. Wait, did I put what's it? Susan says, thank God for our President Trump. Absolutely. So the whole shutdown was over the Affordable Care Act, right? Well, just listen to Trump, what he had to say during the 2024 election campaign debates.
Obamacare was lousy health care, always was. It's not very good today. And what I said, that if we come up with something, and we are working on things, we're going to do it and we're going to replace it. But remember this. I inherited Obamacare because Democrats wouldn't change it. They wouldn't vote for it. They were unanimous. They wouldn't vote to change it. If they would have done that, we would have had a much better plan than Obamacare. But the Democrats came up. They wouldn't vote for it. I had a choice to make when I was president. Do I save it and make it as good as it can be, never going to be great, or do I let it rot? And I felt I had an obligation, even though politically it would have been good to just let it rot and let it go away. I decided, and I told my people, the top people, and they're very good people. I have a lot of good people in that administration. We read about the bad ones. We had some real bad ones, too, and so do they. They have really bad ones. The difference is they don't get rid of them. But let me just explain. I had a choice to make. Do I save it and make it as good as it can be, or do I let it rot? And I saved it. I did the right thing.
So that was true because he wanted to change Obamacare, but they went nuts. The Democrats, they weren't going to allow it, and he was busy fighting off impeachments over bullshit, Russian scandals, everything that they can throw at him as president. And the reason for it is because the insurance companies get all this money. The fact is, and anybody who's been watching the show knows that the middle class did not benefit from Obamacare. The only people that benefited were the poor. Middle class was told that they could keep their doctors. Not true. Middle class was told that they could keep their health plan. Not true, because a lot of their plans went down the toilet. Okay, so Obamacare has never been a success. And yesterday we talked about it a little bit with where the problems were. And you got to think about it. Anytime the government touches anything, it turns to shit. And it's healthcare, it's pharmaceuticals, it's housing, it's education, right? When they started the Department of Education, we were like 12th in the world or something like that. Now we're near the bottom after all these billions, trillions of dollars spent on the Department of Education. Our kids can't read. Okay, but here's what Trump is recommending to Congress. He wants a health savings account, so that, yes, you can get the health insurance premiums. You can actually get the subsidies, but it be paid to the people instead of the insurance companies. Because even though the insurance companies were being subsidized, the price of premiums have gone up 300% above inflation. 300%. So listen.
The president posted what he called a recommendation to Senate Republicans that the hundreds of billions of dollars currently being sent to money-sucking insurance companies be sent directly to the people. Trump's comments urging Republicans to bypass health insurance companies and directly give people federal money under the Affordable Care Act appeared to be a potential compromise. He also called again for Senate Republicans to terminate the filibuster. Trump has, for several days, implored them to jettison that rule, a long-standing Senate hallmark which requires agreement by 60 of the Senate's 100 members to pass most legislation. The Republican-majority Senate rejected legislation on Friday that would have resumed paychecks for hundreds of thousands of federal workers during the longest shutdown in U.S. history.
So last night, as we know, the aide came over, and this is part of the conversation that's happening now. Instead of those the subsidies going to the insurance companies who have just been raising the rates, even though they're getting this sweetheart deal, right, to insure everybody, guaranteed paycheck, which is what they've been lobbying for. And they were lobbying Schumer to shut down the government unless he got the subsidies. Now Trump said, give it to the people. Why not give it to the people? It's our money, right? Why are we giving it to the insurance company who double crosses us every time? Who follow the money know this to be fact. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, I love it too. So all right, tell me something. Would you rather have, I mean, I know we were all forced, right, on Obamacare, and it's really the employers that have to pay the brunt of it. But for us who have privately owned company, it's really a problem. I refuse to join Obamacare, and I get plenty of penalties every year on this. But tell me, do you think it's a good idea that the money goes directly to people? I do. I think let the people decide what they want to do. Schumer said no, but no doubt he gave the go-ahead to the aide who crossed over. No way Schumer did not support those 8 Democrats. I'm not sure, because they're talking about throwing him out. A lot of people are pissed that he shut the government down and got nothing out of it. A lot of people are pissed that he did not handle this correctly. I don't know about that. I mean, the ones that came over are pretty vocal and independent senators. So I think that we're going to see Dick Durbin rise as the new minority leader in the Senate. I've got to tell you, he was playing two sides. I don't think he was. I don't. And even if he was, Deb, he's got no shot. He's got to leave. Him and Pelosi both have to leave. There's no choice. They have to leave. In the old days, special interests had to travel to the individual states to get things done. Today, they walk next door or across the street. Thank you, the 17th Amendment. That is probably the most brilliant comment. Because it is true. It is true. They live there. They live in DC. And so we don't have a voice because they wine and dine our Congress people and senators. And we get fucked in the end. It's really ridiculous. The red blinking light in the corner of Schumer's eye is his political life expectancy light going off. Mike, what do you think? Who's going to be the next minority leader? He's got to go. He has to go. I can't see that I think by the end of the year he's gone. I think they open it up to a special because if Elise Stefanik is getting any traction in New York State, and I think she will. I was up there over the weekend, and there's some good ground game planned for 2026. Then they don't want to risk having a Republican in. So I say Schumer goes, and there's a special election at the beginning of the year. Dick Durbin announced his retirement from the Senate. Oh, that's right. I forgot. Good call, Bob. Interesting. Well, it won't be Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders, that's for sure. Well, could you imagine if Schumer leaves and AOC runs and leaves her seat to run, and then a Republican wins it in a special? That would be interesting. Lots of things can happen here. Okay, it's a minute for after, and we have had a great show tonight. You guys have been great. You're always great. Please share, like, subscribe, tell your friends about it, and I'm going to see you tomorrow. But wait, I think the moderate Dems will pick Kelly. Oh, yeah. Oh, good. All right. Well, we can talk more about it tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Subscribe.